Good morning.
Good morning, Sarah. Can you hear us?
Yep, I can hear you and I can see the empty chairs. So I'll go off camera until we get started, okay?
Perfect. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. This is Mackenzie Sykes with the ASRS. Thank you for joining us. We are nearing the scheduled start time of the Operations Audit and Legislative Committee meeting. Please be patient while we confirm that our virtual participants are online. Thank you.
Test, test.
Chairperson Weber, the time is 9:30. We are ready for you to start when you are ready. Once you have called the meeting to order and the official roll call has been taken, I would like to take a moment and review the meeting guidelines. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Mackenzie. Welcome, everyone. We'll officially go ahead and start this meeting and the OALC committee. And Mackenzie, can we please take the roll?
Will the following individuals please confirm you are present at the meeting by stating here as I call your name? Sarah Weber,
Here.
Michael Miller,
Here.
Chairperson Weber, a quorum is present. I would now like to read the guidelines and reminders. This meeting is currently being recorded and live streamed to the public. All speakers, please remember to identify yourself before speaking. Unless you are speaking, all mics should be muted to eliminate background noise. All cell phones should be set to silent. Once motions are made, I'll take the vote by roll call. Once completed, the committee chairperson will announce whether the motion is passed. This will ensure it is clear to the public how each trustee voted and the minutes are documented accurately. All presenters, please refer to the page numbers of the packet found in the upper right-hand corner of each page in blue as you move through presentations so that attendees can follow along. If any members of the public wish to speak, you'll have the opportunity under the call to the public, agenda item 8. At that time, the committee chairperson will ask if any members of the public have requested the opportunity to speak, and I'll read the names of each person who have indicated that they do. As a reminder, if a trustee needs to leave the meeting early, please be sure to verbally indicate when you leave for the record. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. I believe that I'm pulling up the agenda now, but I believe the first agenda item is the consent agenda. So we'll go to that. Was there any questions, discussion about the consent agenda? It was primarily just the meeting minutes from their last meeting in January. Okay. Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion for the consent agenda.
Madam Chair, this is Mike Miller. I move that the committee approve the consent agenda.
Thank you, and I will second that motion. Mackenzie, if you can go ahead and call the roll call vote.
Hearing a motion by Mr. Miller and a second by Ms. Weber, I will take the roll call vote for the motion to approve the consent agenda. Please answer aye or nay when I call your name. Ms. Weber?
Aye.
Mr. Miller?
Aye.
Thank you, Chairperson Weber. The vote has been taken.
Thank you. And with that, the motion passes. And then with that, we'll move to agenda item number 3, the presentation discussion around employer services and active member survey results. And I can't see who's in the room on the staff side very easily, so I'll just defer to Director Matson, but if there's someone else there that wants to jump in, please do.
Excellent, thank you. And I'm going to defer it right to Jeremiah.
Thank you, Paul. Madam Chair, members of the committee, good morning. I am here with Katie Dano, the Chief Strategy Officer, and Sophia Diebler, the Senior Strategic Planner, and we're going to get right into the survey results. So from there, guys, go ahead and take it away.
And good morning, Chairperson Weber and members of the board. I'm Sophia Diebler, the Strategic Planner within the ASRS. Thank you for this opportunity to speak today. Today, I'll share highlights from 2 key cohort surveys, the 2024 Employer Survey and the 2025 Active Member Survey. These surveys give us helpful feedback from our employer partners and active members, 2 key cohorts whose experiences help shape how the ASRS is seen and how well we're meeting their needs. We'll start with the employer survey, where we saw higher satisfaction and strong recognition of our service. We'll also touch on areas where we can grow, especially with digital tools in education. Then we'll move to the active member survey. This year, we saw steady satisfaction and trust from our members, along with requests for clearer information and more personalized support. Together, these surveys show what matters most to our members and employer partners. Let's go ahead and start off with the employer survey, which is attachment A. Starting with the demographics, in December, we conducted the annual employer partner survey with 341 respondents. Of these, 52% worked in education, which includes K through 12 public, K through 12 charter, and higher education combined. 43% worked within public employment, which is the state governments, cities and towns, along with counties, and then 6% within other sectors. Respondents' roles includes human resources at 51%, payroll at 37%, executive/senior management at 9%, and other being 3%. Now, we are pleased to report increased satisfaction levels across our key performance indicators this year. Highlights from this survey include overall satisfaction at 92%, which is a 26% increase as we had 73% satisfaction reporting in 2023. Our net promoter score is up by 30% at 54.4, indicating a strong willingness to recommend the ASRS as a great organization, ultimately exceeding our goal of 50. Last year, we reported 42.0 for 2023. Our employers' partners recognize the ASRS for its commitment to service, reporting high levels of agreement that the ASRS operates ethically at 91%, reported 85% for 2023. Acts in their best interest at 77%, which was reported at 71% agreement in 2023, is easy to do business with at 89%, which is 3% increase from 86 the year prior. It contributes to a total compensation package that helps their organization by attracting new employees at 83%, which is also an increase from 74% the survey prior, and retaining current staff at 86%. Again, another significant increase as we reported 78% the year prior in 2023. Now, employers also express strong satisfaction with the ASRS communication and services. Overall, customer service satisfaction is at 88%, which is a 4% increase. Sends relevant communications to employers' needs at 87%, which was reported at 83% for 2023. Website satisfaction at 95% for both the public and our secure websites, which was reported at 94% and 89% respectively. And then employer secure messaging satisfaction is at 87%, which is actually unchanged from the year prior. While overall satisfaction remains high, survey feedback highlights areas for enhancement, particularly in education and online tools. I'm going to go ahead and review our recommendations. Now, focusing on the online tool satisfactions rating graph, which is on page 2. Satisfaction ratings for online tools have declined from last year, which is highlighting our opportunities to continue with tailored education. These online tools include the ending payroll verification at 63%, which was reported at 65% the year prior, health insurance reporting at 45%, which is a 1% increase from 2023, and return to work application at 55%, which was reported at 59% in 2023. Employer comments suggest enhancements to the secure website, including, we're returning back to page 1, more timely notifications when an EPV is submitted for review the ending payroll verification, simplified access to closed secure messages, improved document search tools, and the ability to clearly track non-enrolled employees. Now, again, reviewing our findings, we see that there's a direct correlation between the increase in satisfaction and initiatives directed by our employers' relation team during the 2024 calendar year. This included one-on-one meetings held to review contribution reporting and enrollment processes while promoting the ASRS training and conferences. Additional training for new employer representatives, which included contribution reporting training with an ASRS contribution accounting team expert. Expansion of the employer conference to include both virtual and in-person sessions. And finally, flexible scheduling for the Employer Basics webinar series, now held daily over a period of 10 days. These changes assisted with boosting the Net Promoter Score, improved our key performance metrics, and increased awareness of statutes and online tools. Now that we've looked at feedback from our employer partners, it's important to remember that they have a big influence on how our active members, especially those who are just starting out, experience and perceive the ASRS. The way employers share information and support their staff throughout their member journey helps shape how members see us from day one. Now, this is helpful because it gives us, looking at both of these surveys, gives us a look at both perspectives. Let's go ahead and shift to what our active members had to say. This survey gives us a clear view of how members at all career stages feel about the ASRS, the benefits we provide, and the support we offer. Just like with the employer survey, this survey helps us see what's working and where we can improve. On attachment B, the 2025 active member survey. This survey was conducted in March with a total of 2,762 total respondents. Of these, 251 had less than 1 years of service, 403 with between 1 to 4.99, just about 5 years of service, 611 with 5 through 9.99 years of service, 513 with 10 through 19.99 years of service, 507 with 20 through 29.99 years of service, and 477 with at least 30 years or more of service. This year, we have seen modest increases of how our active members perceive the ASRS and the value of its benefits, beginning with the Net Promoter Score. We rose slightly by 1 point to 18.4 from 2024's 17.4. Overall satisfaction remains strong at 81%, showing consistent member approval over the last 3 years. 78% of members feel their contributions are affordable for the benefits received, which is unchanged from last year. Similar to the employer's partner's perspective, the ASRS lifetime benefit continues to be a key factor in recruitment and retention, with 82% of active members saying it influences their decision to work for or stay with a contributing employer. A compelling 87% of active members would recommend a job contributing to the ASRS, reinforcing its value as a workplace benefit. On to our next section, trust in leadership, integrity, commitment, and financial stability. 72% of members agree the ASRS acts ethically, consistent with last year, which was also 72%. 75% believes the ASRS operates in their best interest, again, holding steady year over year, which was also 75% the year prior. 81% feel confident that their retirement is secure, which is a slight decrease of 1% from last year. Moving along, clear communication and strong support matter to active members. Consistent with last year, 81% agree that their information provided is easy to understand. 76% find the communications are relevant to their needs, a minor decrease from 78% in the year prior survey. 75% feel they receive enough information to retire confidently, which is up from 73% from the 2024's survey. Now, as we have seen in our prior year surveys, members who engage with the ASRS have higher satisfaction, beginning with the websites. 84% satisfaction rating for both the public and secure websites. Public is up slightly, while the secure site is down. We reported 83% in 2024 with the public and 87% in 2024 with a secure website. Overall satisfaction is highest at 81% among those who engage with the ASRS. This drops to 63% for the general population and 60% for those without any type of interaction. Focusing in on our key findings, a consistent set of priorities has emerged across both newer members who have 5 years or less and longstanding members with at least 10 years or more. Members share common concerns about understanding their ASRS retirement benefits, accessing information, and planning confidently for their financial future. These priorities center on education and clarity, a desire for jargon-free materials, and more learning opportunities such as small group sessions, ease of access to information, a desire in more user-friendly, secure, and public website experience to easily find relevant pension and benefit details, financial consideration, concerns about contribution rates and post-retirement healthcare affordability, and personalized support, interest in interactive tools and targeted education, including personalized annuity estimates. What we've heard from our active members is clear. They value the ASRS, but are looking for more help in understanding and planning for their future. Their feedback gives us a great opportunity to improve how we connect, educate, and support them. Based on this input, we've developed a set of focused recommendations to move forward, which includes enhanced educational resources, again, simplified jargon-free materials for clear retirement guidance, improved website accessibility and navigation, and AI chatbot for 24/7 retirement support, interactive tools, interactive net annuity and career stage assistant for smarter retirement planning. Now, active members' feedback, much like our employer survey results, underscores the importance of clarity, support, and ongoing communication. In closing, the survey insights give us a clear view of our strengths and where we can grow. We're seeing strong trust and satisfaction, alongside clear asks for better tools, education, and communication. These voices are helping us shape our next steps so we can continue to support our members and employer partners with clarity, care, and the commitment they deserve. Thank you again for your time today. I'm happy to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you. That was a phenomenal presentation. I'll open it up. Mr. Miller, any questions on your end?
Just a couple of simple questions, I think. Go back on the member survey. The first thing I don't understand is if the target is 50 on the promoter score and we're at 18.4, what do we have to really do to get from there up towards that target? Maybe I'm reading this wrong, but
No.
okay.
Mr. Miller, I'd be happy to talk about this, and Katie can jump in as well. The engagement score, the net promoter score, is set on a scale of -100 up to +100. Anything over 0 is actually a positive net promoter score. Take it back just a few years, because that was a lot of information. Sophia did a great job giving all that information. But if you just take a step back, a couple of years ago, we put together the strategic plan and we set aspirational goals that this time we wanted to set goals that were truly aspirational, that it would be very, very difficult to achieve. And that goal was a net promoter score of 50, which is world-class service, correct?
Yeah, unheard of,
Okay.
World-class
especially
service.
in the active population for pensions.
So the fact that, we gained 12.4 points and increased to a 54.4 score for the employer net promoter score means one thing in particular, that we achieved one of our aspirational goals from the new strategic plan, which I'm very happy to report today. So that was a fantastic achievement. And I'll get to the member thing in a second, because I think it all ties together. But this was truly an agency concerted effort that took structural realignments. We did a lot of customer service improvements to the employers by aligning those different teams so that we can answer those questions quicker and improve turnaround times and service to the employers. We did new employer communications. We revamped the education program. Genevieve McBride did a fantastic job in revamping that. We had an in-person outreach program where Jenna GoLab and several other people went to these employers and met with them face to face, shook hands, and had real conversations with these individuals. So we've met with a large portion of our population to make those real connections so that we could take back to do items from them, and then we could also give them items to make the relationship more positive with the ASRS. Just fantastic job from people like Erica Searing, Jennifer Gomez-Pabon, Genevieve McBride. I already mentioned Jenna, Nate Brengel, Christy Zeller, Jeannie Walletto, all the TSD teams that worked on this just did a fantastic job. Now, to the member point that you had brought up, we want to do those same things on the member side as well. We want to align key member-related work areas, do more process improvements for the members, and change our member communication strategy to be more about the member journeys and automated communications to the people when they need them, and meet the members where they want to be met. And revamping our member education program, which is already in full swing. So we're hoping to start seeing those implementations over the course of the next year or so that we can start to hopefully see gains. Now, the population difference between the employers and the members is sizable. So we anticipate strategically that it might take a little bit longer to see long-term gains in the net promoter score with the employers that do business with us on a monthly basis. We can make those changes and see those immediate results, and I'm proud of those results. With the members, depending on where they are, as in inactive versus active, or contributing, or retired, they may not have contact with us for 2 or 3 years at a time. So our contact points are different than they are for the employers, but that doesn't mean that we're not focusing and try to raise that score. So seeing the score on the member side go up by a point from 17.4 to 18.4, very happy with that, but not satisfied. We have a lot of work to do, and we're excited about the changes we're going to make going forward in the future on that.
First of all, thank you. And thank you for jogging my memory on the promoter score, that it's a negative 100 to a positive 100. That brings this whole thing into focus for me, and have a better understanding. You know, and all of this is just amazing to me in terms of the quality and what is happening. And super kudos to everybody, all the team. Just a kind of almost a sidebar thought. I know that as teachers, they get bombarded with everything at the very beginning of the school year. Teachers meetings and everything gets thrown at them, and you know, and especially if you get 2 different reactions. You get the rookie teacher whose eyes are big as silver dollars, and they're trying to figure out what in the world's going on. And you get the veteran teacher who goes, "Oh, geez, I got to sit through another meeting. It's the same old, same old." If there was a way you can get to somehow the mass of those people almost about mid-year, and somehow give them a shot in the arm about ASRS, and, you know, and everything that they are looking down the road to be able to enjoy from. I think we might get a better response out of some of them, because some of them would suddenly go, even the rookie teachers could suddenly go, wow, you know, now I've gotten through the first semester and I've survived, and now I kind of get a feel for all of this, and just maybe it would help them to maybe better engage, you know, as a possibility. And even for the veteran teachers, a chance to kind of re-engage and come away with maybe some new energy towards it, and those kinds of things. Just a thought. So
No.
I don't know how you do that, but it's just a thought.
Mr. Miller, thank you for that insight into the teacher demographic. I really appreciate that. We're going to take that back and we're going to see what we can do to better incorporate that into our current strategy.
Sure, appreciate it.
Thank you. Great comments. I want to echo. I'm really, I guess, keep doing what you're doing. It's working. It's really exciting to see the progress. And I think my big takeaway when I look at this data is the more interactions that people have with ASRS, the more satisfied they are, the higher likelihood that they're going to be a promoter. And that's huge. That speaks to the quality of this program. I can think of plenty of companies that the more you interact with them, the less likely you are to promote them. And so I just think it's so critical. I'm glad that this is a focus and that you're really setting a high bar because it's so important. Mr. Miller's right. We're really facing a time when the concept of a pension is, less and less common knowledge for people who are entering the system. And not only are, employees bombarded with information from their employer, but they're bombarded with information all the time. I think I heard a statistic, and this is going to be wrong, but that, essentially to get someone to click through in a marketing nowadays, you need like 23 impressions. So you have to see that 23 times. That's how many times, because we're just always being bombarded with information. So you're fighting in an information war to get folks' attention, whether it's at work or just in their lives in general. But having them be net promoters is just so critical to the success of this agency and long term, and really making sure that our members understand the benefit that they have. I've been really surprised. I know a lot of very smart people, and when I chat with them, they have like, oh yeah, I really need to look into that. I need to understand my retirement, and so the more we can do that, the better. So I just want to commend you. I think this is a really exciting and well presented update. And yeah, just keep it up, keep going. Think outside the box and let's see what works. So well done.
Chairperson Weber, thank you so much for those comments. It's much appreciated.
Absolutely. All right, unless there's any other comments or discussion, we'll move along to agenda item number 4, the legislative and rulemaking initiatives. And Paul, I'll just defer to you, Director Mattson, and let you take it from there.
Okay, thank you very much. I'm going to ask Jessica to come up, and Jessica is almost here to give the presentation.
Thank
you,
you.
Jessica.
Hi, Jessica.
We also have Ryan and Katie, should there be any technical questions about what it covers. So thank you.
Good morning, everyone. For the record, Jessica Thomas, Legislative Liaison and Rules Writer for the Arizona State Retirement System. Today, I'm going to go over first a rulemaking update, and then we'll go over a legislative update. With regard to rules, we had 5 separate rulemakings listed on our regulatory agenda for this year. We have received approval and are currently working on 4 of the 5. And then later this month, well, I guess technically next month, May, we will request approval from the governor's office for that 5th rulemaking regarding long-term disability. We also had 4 separate 5-year rule review reports due to the Governor's Regulatory Review Council. Staff is also completing those as well. With that, I'd be happy to answer any questions on rulemaking.
Any questions on rulemaking?
Okay. So I will move on then to the legislative update. We had 5 agency bills relating to relating to the termination incentive program, relating to my mind's going blank, relating to the return to work program, also relating to the deferred compensation programs. All of the 4 of the 5 have passed. They are waiting for 3rd read in the Senate. And the fifth bill, which is House Bill 2335, that is the one that is related to return to work. Both our sponsor and staff are no longer pursuing that this year. We wanted to give stakeholders of the ASRS more time to ensure that we are drafting statutory language that benefits our members, but still retaining our compliance with IRS code. There are several other bills that are going through that affect the ASRS. House Bill 2208 is related to pharmacy reimbursements for pharmacy benefit managers. It passed its committee in the House and it may continue through the legislative process. However, I don't see it going anywhere because it did not get out of the House itself. HB 2645 is proposing to repeal the 6-month waiting period. That bill was scheduled to be heard in the Ways and Means Committee in the House. However, it was not heard, so I don't see that going anywhere either. Senate Bill 1034 proposed to allow a retiree who terminated employment for at least 6 months to return as a prosecutor. While it was scheduled for the House Ways and Means Committee, it also was not heard. Senate Bill 1093 proposes to require all state investments to be made in the sole interest of the taxpayer. It was assigned to the House Government Committee, but it was not heard in that committee. I don't see that progressing either. Senate Bill 1221 proposes to require a publicly managed fund to divest from companies that are owned, domiciled, incorporated, headquartered, or controlled by the People's Republic of China. It passed the House Ways and Means Committee on March 19th, and it may continue through the process. Senate Bill 1474 proposes to allow elected officials to retire from other ASRS employers without resigning their elected position. It was assigned to the House Ways and Means Committee, but it was not heard in that committee. Senate Bill 1592 proposes to require the ASRS to only invest assets based on pecuniary factors. It was assigned to the Senate Finance Committee, but it was not heard in that committee. Senate Bill 1712 proposes to allow new judicial officers and new elected officials to choose to participate in either the ASRS or the elected officials defined contribution retirement system. It was assigned to the Senate Finance Committee, but it was not heard in that committee. With that, I'd be happy to answer any questions.
I have a couple of questions for clarification more from my feeble brain, trust me. When you say it was not heard, are you telling me that those bills are essentially dead? They're not going anywhere?
Thank you, Committee Member Miller. Yes, essentially they are dead. They are no longer moving. Now, until legislative session ends, anything can really happen. Somebody could resurrect it, but they are likely not going to go anywhere this session.
Okay, I just want to make sure I thought that was the case, but I appreciate hearing that from you as well. The other question I had was dealing with, where did I just mark that? Senate Bill 1221. How would that or would it impact ASRS?
Committee Member Miller, I don't believe that it would impact the ASRS. I'll defer to investment staff, but my understanding is that we do not have those types of investments currently.
Okay, that's fine.
And the summary would be correct. So it applies to us. Should our portfolio be constructed in a certain way, we would make changes. It's not. So we would not, it de facto has no impact on us.
Okay. Well, first of all, and I thank you for your time of keeping us up to date on all of this. It's kind of mind-boggling as far as I'm concerned. And I guess I'll go out on a limb and say I don't understand how some of our legislators even come up with some of this to start with. So, but thank you, because it's great information. And obviously you spend a lot of time and effort and energy on keeping track of all of this and moving it forward for ASRS. So thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. This is a great report and appreciate you moving forward with the rulemaking and with the legislation as well. I know there's a lot of work behind the scenes. These are not, these are relatively complex bills. So keeping everyone informed of their impacts is so critical. So really glad to hear that it doesn't sound like there's anything that is a big concern at this point in the session. And I also appreciate the decision to wait a year and make sure, it's hard to wait when a whole year for a cycle for something, but really appreciate not putting everyone in a position where we might be in conflict with a federal code. That's never fun. But no, thank you. I appreciate you did a really good job navigating this session, as always. So thank you. And I know it's not over yet, so knock on wood.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. All right, unless there's further discussion on that item, we will move to agenda item number 5, presentation, discussion, and appropriate action regarding the ASRS Information Security and Privacy Program. Before we start in that discussion, given the nature of the conversation, I would entertain a motion to go into executive session at this point.
Madam Chairman, I move that the committee go to executive session for agenda item number 5 pursuant to ARS 38-431.03A9 for the purpose of discussion or consultations with designated representatives to discuss security matters.
I second the motion. Mackenzie, if you could please take the roll call vote.
I have a motion by Mr. Miller and a second by Ms. Weber. I will take a roll call vote for the motion to move into executive session as stated. Please answer aye or nay when I call your name. Ms. Weber,
Aye.
Mr. Miller.
Aye.
Thank you, Chairperson Weber. The vote has been taken. The time is 10:03. We will now move into executive session.
Thank you.
Time is now 10:30. Chairperson Weber, we are ready for you to call the open session meeting back to order when you are ready. After you call the meeting to order, I would like to take a roll call vote to ensure we still have a quorum.
Thank you, Mackenzie. Yes, I will go ahead and call us back to the regular session for our meeting. And Mackenzie, if you can call the roll, that would be fantastic.
For the record, will the following trustees please confirm you are in attendance to the meeting by stating here as I call your name? Ms. Weber,
Here.
Mr. Miller,
Here,
roll call has been taken. Chairperson Weber, the quorum is present.
Thank you. And with that, we will move to agenda item 6, call to the public. Do we have any members of the public who wish to address the committee?
No, we do not have anyone wishing to speak.
Okay, then we will move on to agenda item number 7. Let me make sure I get this exactly right. Apologies. There we go. The presentation, discussion, and appropriate action on the internal audit quarterly report. Mr. Mackey, it looks like we have you online as well.
Yes, Madam Chair, thank you very much. Hopefully you can hear me.
I can hear you.
Okay, fantastic. Which I can't see as whether or not my staff is present sitting in front of Chairperson Miller, so we will assume they are. I'm here, for the record, I'm Harold Mackey, and there is my staff. Thank you very much. I'm here to present the three things: the internal audit quarterly update. Next would be the internal audit strategy going forward. And then the third will be the internal audit's biennial audit plan for fiscal years 2026 and 2027. But before I get to that, as part of the internal audit quarterly update, just a brief summary of some of the things that we are trying to accomplish within the internal audit division. And number one, primarily, it's to be that independent lens for you, the board, as we move forward and hopefully provide you with value in terms of our audits, our assessments, and working in connection with the operations of the agency. With that, if we will go to the next page, trying to get the numbers here. Page 26. So the first thing you're going to hear is the quarterly audit report. And again, that's going to summarize some of the administrative activities, advisory, work plan update, and budget hours. So this gives us gives you a summary of our current activities. And then following that, again, like I said, the quarterly strategy and the biennial audit plan. And so in terms of the quarterly audit report, just want to highlight some things. So if we can move to the quarterly audit report, which will be on page, let's go to page 229. Excuse me, 29. I don't know why I think it's longer than it is. So on page 29, the first thing I would like to do is, last time we met, we were going through a recruiting process, seeking a new internal auditor, because our previous auditor, Miss Nancy Solheim, had retired. So with that, we went out on a search, actually two, one prior to the Christmas break, and then of course we picked up after the Christmas break. And sitting amongst my staff now is our new hire. So I would just like Colin to just introduce himself, and so that you can see who he is, and just from that go forward. So Colin.
Yeah, hi. Thank you, Harold. My name is Colin Tomier. I'm the new internal auditor officer. Good morning, committee members. Um,
Hi, welcome.
Thank you. I appreciate the opportunity and look forward to growing into the role.
Great. Just a brief about Colin. So Colin does have state experience, worked a lot within the IT space within ASU, and then worked a little bit with, I believe it was Department of Transportation for a little while. So we're bringing him on board, um, some compliance knowledge, but not necessarily a lot of audit knowledge. So we're growing him into that space. And also with some of his IT background, we're hoping to be able to use that knowledge as we go forward with with the current and next biennial audit plans. As you're aware, I am virtual. So I'm right now in St. Louis attending our APFA conference, which is the Association of Public Pension Fund Auditors. It's one of those things, and this is twice, and I'm going to be talking to them about having those coincide with my audit committee meetings. I'd rather be there in person. So that is where we are. My staff is there because they're working on some very important work right now. And that has to do with doing the GASB testing. So primarily that's what they're focused on. So Andrew is leading up that effort along with Nettie, and then Colin is really getting his legs associated with the employer auditing side of the house. So with them working on that important work, it's good that maybe I stepped away and let them do the work and not bug them so much. The other thing you're going to see in terms of course, the work that we did administratively within the this quarter, it was the biennial audit plan. So that was developed as well as the strategic plan. The strategic plan and the biennial audit plan are both updates and some carry forward and some new information, as well as some streamlining. So if we could go to the next page. Okay, all right. So within this next page, you will see again, as we have, and as I have indicated before, one of the things that I try to do is keep my team engaged in all of or as many of the high level activities going on within the operations, investments, and so forth, so that we can keep a pulse on what's going on, so we can understand what are some of those higher risk areas that might pop up from time to time. So in here, of course, we have our operations leadership meetings, we have our executive team and operations risk. Those are primarily areas that I focus on, as well as the investment committee. The technology projects and the employer updates, typically my staff will focus on those. And so we're able to, when we have our weekly meetings, share information that we receive from out of those that are important for us going forward, and anything we might to make adjustments to our audit plan so that we can keep you informed of what's going on. Next page, please. So here is our current work plan environment of what we've done. Again, we've got a number of audits outstanding right now. We have 2 completed audits, but we have yet to release the audit reports. So you will be seeing those in our next update. In progress, we have health insurance subsidies, and this is a really, I would say, more of an assessment than an audit. Again, we've talked about this. Our focus on this is really to work with our FESD representatives to ensure that they're getting, they're sending out distributions for this health insurance for people who actually are there, need them, have requested them, and not sending those who might have dropped off the rolls. And so there's excess dollars out there which we could be using and working for the betterment of the members. There's some other stuff that we've looked at pension, but really the most important thing here is our GASB testing that's going on right now. And so once that is on, we had another audit that we were proposing doing, but we're going to be putting that on hold, and I will talk to you about that separately. So we'll go forward as we are right now, just focus on the GASB, and then I'll be looking for one more audit to try to get us started before the end of the fiscal year. Next page, please. So here is just a summary of all the activities that have occurred at this point in time in the hours. And so I'll pause at this time and see if there's any questions.
I don't have any questions. I'm not hearing any from the room.
All right. So the last thing I'm going to mention on the updates is come the June timeframe, we're going to be working with our strategic communications, and we're going to be focused on communications with our foreign annuitants. We're changing that model. We talked about it. We got hit by COVID. Now it's time to reflect on that, especially since we now have other ways of providing notary services, which was lacking prior to this time frame. So I think this will speed up the process, give us more accuracy, and be a better benefit for those members who are living abroad or their beneficiaries. Okay, so we can just hold there. The next thing I want to talk about, if we go back to page 26. And what I want to do here is just highlight briefly things that we've updated in the strategy document. So prior to, I guess, the new change in the ASRS strategic planning documents, we had a similar companion document where within internal audit, we try to really map our planning and our strategies so that we can bring best value to ensuring the success of a strategic plan. We have a new one now that the agency has put out, and so we wanted to make sure that we aligned our strategies to the new plans, and therefore we'll be able to derive the best audits or assessments to provide you all assurance that we're driving to success in delivering, for the agency delivering on its strategic goals and objectives. In the interim, we've also had, as you may recall, where we are members of and we follow the Institute of Internal Audit. We follow their standards, the Red Book, the international professional practices. Those changed and went into full effect in January. And they're now under what's called the Global Internal Audit Standards. So we're focusing on updating all of our documentation. Our practices are much already aligned, but our documentation needs to be updated. And so we're still in that process, especially our internal audit manual. So most other things have been, we wanted to ensure that we updated the strategy to reflect on those new standards, and the strategy reflected on the strategic planning goals and objectives of the ASRS. And so here I've just highlighted what we have is really 4 different leveraged goals. Assess the performance of the ASRS lines, to ensure internal audit is optimized for its success. Again, we have a small staff, so we've got to really concentrate and focus on those key areas, which I believe will help bring value or show or demonstrate value to what the agency is doing. And then, of course, we always want to do, and everything that we do is really based on a continuous improvement model. And lastly, where we can continue to leverage and expand on technology, whether it be our data analytics side, or now as we're looking at and launching evaluations into our artificial intelligence space, those things are coming up. And then, of course, we want to simplify all of our metrics. Sometimes when we look internally, we need to focus on what is of value to you, the board, as we go forward. I just wanted to highlight that. That document itself is an appendix to the board materials that you have before you. So I'm not going to go any further into that. Next, I want to do you have any questions before I go forward?
No, thank you. And thank you for including that in the appendix.
Okay. So lastly, just want to highlight the biennial audit plan again. Now this, again, plan, we assess it every year. We present it and try to put together a biennial audit plan every other year. However, we do look at it constantly, of course, and usually the second year we'll, if necessary, make changes unless changes are warranted sooner to what might be going on from a risk standpoint to the agency, or changes, significant changes which might require some more attention to detail. This particular plan is going to be more heavily focused on what we're seeing either globally or locally, and is more in terms of threats to the agency from threat actors from the cyberspace. So we want to focus more on those kinds of things, what we can automate so that we can get better metrics, better surveillance, and look at that from an internal audit lens, and then work with the agency in order to ensure, again, that they have the best risk profiles, the best risk strategy, and importantly, the best controls in place as we move forward.
Mr. Mackey, sorry to interrupt you, just real quick. I think that this is a separate agenda item. I just want to confirm. I know it was covered in the memo for internal audit, but I think on our agenda, the audit plan is agenda item number 8. So,
it is?
Yeah, so I'll just go ahead and move us right into agenda
Okay.
item number 8. Please continue.
All right, my apologies. Yeah, when I looked at it, I thought it was just a continuation. So, being agenda item 8, I'm glad you have brought that up. This one, I am going to be asking for a motion to approve and forward this to the full board for consideration. So thank you for that. I appreciate it. So if you want to just quickly look at this particular one. So if we go down to, it is on there. So if we go down to page 35. So here, like the strategy document, I've updated the basic template and framework of our audit plan to coincide with how things have changed with the global internal audit standards. So you'll see that reflected throughout this document, and I thought it was important to bring up because there are some minor changes, as I had alluded to going forward, that we would be introducing. One of the key is our interactions that as chief internal auditor I need to have with you and staff, but also at the same time ensuring that we're not breaking any of those open meeting laws. So that's something we have to manage and go forward on. Next page, please. Okay. Here again, this is the audit process, so you can see how we walk through it. But more important is our risk assessment area. We know within the agency we have with the new risk leadership team. They have done tremendous amount of work on, basically reinvigorated our enterprise risk management environment. And so keeping it at a higher level, but also focusing on those key risks. We in internal audit take that as a starting point to looking at what we need to do in order to manage. So a lot of lot of what is there is, of course, the same, but we're looking at it from a different lens. So if you go to the next page. So you can see here how we have in the ASRS strategic risk categories, we have now tried to keep those fairly consistent from our perspective, and also the high level strategic risks. And again, we've looked at the definitions and how those particular areas may impact the agency. And below that, if you look at the area of what we call the areas of potential risk, you'll see that there is some impact descriptions for the members, retirees, beneficiaries, employers, erroneous financial records. And again, a lot of these are not always internal audit, but we rely on others like our CLA when they do a lot of their financial due diligence on the agency, that we can rely on their information to go forward and to say, yes, that's not something we need to duplicate because it's already been done. If you go to the next page, just to highlight our audit, our annual review. Of course, we're looking at really in this particular audit plan, I've segregated really two things. We seem to be getting more annual review activities. And so as we look at those new annual review activities, we really want to focus on how we can automate as much as possible, because that will consume a lot of our cycle time, again, because of our small staff. If we can continue to automate some of these audit level tasks, then we will have more time for those other audits that are on the books. So part of this coming up fiscal year is going to be looking at these areas of annual audit and see where we can do process improvements in terms of the audit space, as well as automation, and see what we can get in terms of analytics and so forth to move this process forward, and shrink our budgeted hours that will be consumed. Then if we go, I'm just going to go all the way down to the appendix at this point in time on page 43. So on page 43, you can see this is where I put all these in the appendix, where you can get a high-level summary of what each one of those audits look like. The light blue are the ones that are primarily going to be what we'll be looking at from an annual basis. And then you'll see a grayish color, which will be those things that will be at other points of time. And as an example, got a pay codes assessment coming up. We got our peer review coming up. We have some data integrity. So those are things that aren't annualized, but the others are, or we're trying to get to that point. So that's what's being presented in the biennial audit plan. I'll open it up for questions if you have any additional questions.
I would just say, obviously, this is a very well thought out plan. And you have monumental work in front of you. And I commend you for the detail that you've put into it, obviously. And obviously, it's needed information. And I look forward to hearing those reports.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. I think it's exciting that you are, you don't currently have any staffing vacancies as you're moving into this plan. And so that makes that a lot easier when you're with such a small team that's a significant part of your capacity. So hoping you're feeling like you're starting off on a good track. And I agree. I think this does a really good job being really intentional, comprehensive about things that we're looking at, how we do that, in alignment with the strategic plan. I appreciate those edits and updates, and with the agency, so that we can have the information that we need to make sure that things are being done appropriately. We're avoiding that risk. So really appreciate that.
Thank you, Chairwoman Weber. So with that, I'm not sure how this goes. I always forget. In terms of the motion to move forward, I don't know if I do that or if one of you do that.
Yeah, so that would have to come from someone on the committee. So I will entertain a motion for agenda item number 8.
Madam Chair, this is Mike Miller. I move that the committee accept the proposed biennial audit plan for fiscal years 2026 and 2027 and forward to the full board for approval.
Thank you. I second the motion. Mackenzie, please call the roll. Oh.
Hearing a motion by Mr. Miller and a second by Ms. Weber, I'll take a roll call vote for the motion to approve the biennial audit plan and forward to the full board. Please answer aye or nay when I call your name. Ms. Weber?
Aye.
Mr. Miller?
Aye.
Thank you, Chairperson Weber. The vote has been taken.
Thank you. And with that, the motion is passed. So look forward to discussing further at the board meeting. And thank you, Mr. Mackey.
Okay, thank you, Chairwoman Weber, and also just like to thank my team for being there in support, just in case we had failures with the virtual environment.
That's awesome. Yes. Always good to have backup.
Yes.
Great. Thank you. That we'll move to agenda item number 9, a summary of current events. The legislature is still in session, as we discussed earlier. Other than that, I don't know that there's anything that's really pertinent to this committee to discuss, unless Mr. Miller, anything you'd like to add?
Not at this time.
Okay, awesome. This committee feels like a place of order in a world of chaos sometimes. So well done, everyone. We don't need to put that in the minutes. Okay, agenda item number 10, request for future agenda items. Hearing none, we'll move forward with the agendas as planned. Great job to the staff. I really appreciate the cadence of updates and information. I think especially moving where now it's been a couple years on this committee, it's very timely to see the updates and the information as you're all making progress. So I just appreciate, I know that is done through careful planning and consideration. With that, agenda item number 11, the next regular public ASRS OALC committee meeting is scheduled for Wednesday, July 30th, 2025 at 9:30 a.m. And with that, we are adjourned. Thank you, everyone. Thanks, Mr. Miller.
The time is 10:58.
Thanks, everyone. Have a good day.